Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We're really glad to have you here. We're going to start our program, and we'd like to get our program started. It's great to see you all again. And the first thing, and thank you for coming. I'm Dick Cornet. I'm a member of the ANCA Board of Directors and chair of what we call our Community Education Working Group that organizes these events. I want to first have you introduce yourself to other people at the table. If you haven't, just take a couple minutes so you know who's sitting at your table. We're going to be doing some exercises at the table towards the end. So why don't you do that now, and I'll come back in a couple minutes.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay, everybody knows everybody else now? Is this mic loud enough for everybody? This loud? Okay. So this slide talks about ANCA's mission, which is to build climate resilient communities, neighborhood by neighborhood. We are a 501c3 organization. It's a nonprofit organization who was founded by Linda Hamilton, who was just right over there. Linda? 2022, so we've been around a little bit. Our work is really informed by a vision of this climate resilient community as shown on this slide. And there's 10 components of that vision, as you can see in the green boxes here. There are 3 goals that underline our vision, which is reducing carbon emissions, preparing for severe climate impacts, and ensuring environmental justice in all we do. So most of the components in these boxes, a lot of them are included in the Climate Action Plan that we had a session on a couple months ago. Last month we talked about how to reduce transportation emissions, which is the largest impact, the largest source of emissions in Redlands. Tonight we're going to drill down, and we're going to talk trash tonight. Anybody want to talk trash?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk trash. But we're going to talk trash, we're going to talk about solid waste and reduction of solid waste. And then we're going to talk about reducing waste during the holidays, giving you some specific ideas on how to do that. I wanted to point out that one of our boxes here is zero waste. That's really what we're talking about. And those types of things in working with our neighborhoods are shown on this slide, just to warm you up a little bit. By reducing, working towards zero waste, we increase knowledge and commitment to recycling. We hope people will do that. We hope you can hold neighborhood swaps for clothing, tools, identify and engage neighbors in skills in repairing small appliances and clothing, and you can come to our repair cafe. The next one will be on January 24th. Neighborhoods can reduce plastics and harmful chemicals and set a sharing system in the neighborhoods for small tools and appliances. So lots of things you can do. That's just a few things. You're going to learn about a lot more as we go through our program tonight. So let me introduce our speakers. We have 2 city staff as speakers tonight. Caitlin Haverland is the city sustainability coordinator. You'll recognize her because she has been a speaker at our last 2 programs. She is responsible for the implementation of the city's climate action plan. She's very knowledgeable about solid waste as her previous position was with the County of Santa Barbara's Public Works Solid Waste Division. Michael Hines has worked for the City of Redlands for Waste Division for over 18 years. He's intimate with the details of how we collect and process solid waste. And for the last 8 months, he has been the recycling coordinator. Caitlin and Michael will discuss the city's solid waste and recycling services, including how to reduce and recycle your waste. We will have a Q&A session after they get done. Let me introduce Christy Cooper now. Christy is owner of Feel Good Market here in Redlands, who will speak about how to have a sustainable holiday. She is a CPA, an auditor by training, but somehow she got involved in being an entrepreneur now and an environmentalist, and we're glad she did. I think it's more exciting than doing an audit. She has recently opened a second Feel Good store market in Claremont. We will have a second Q&A after her talk. We will also have time for table talk, where we will ask you to discuss a topic related to tonight's program and provide input back to us. At the end of the evening, we'll have a raffle of gift items from Feel Good Market. So with that, Caitlin, would you like to start off?
Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin Haberlin. I am the City Sustainability Coordinator. Thanks so much to ANCA for having us here, and yeah, I hope some of you recognize me because I want to be out in the community, so hopefully you do recognize me because that means I'm getting out there. I want to introduce my colleague Michael Hines.
Thank you all for coming this evening. My name is Mike Hines, as Dick mentioned. I've been with the city for 18 years. In all 18 years, I started from the very bottom as maintenance up to a truck driver to supervision. Now I'm in a recycling coordinator position, all within trash. So I know a lot about the industry, but Caitlin is the brains behind like sustainability for sure. So
We are a dynamic duo. You can see us at work. We're getting stuff done. So yeah, as Mike said, I used to work for Santa Barbara County. Santa Barbara is apples and oranges with Redlands, right? So there's, I definitely have experience there, but it's been an honor to learn so much more about Redlands and all the ways that people care for the planet and want to reduce their waste here in the city. So as Dick said, we will be talking trash today. And solid waste affects our climate in a bunch of different ways. There's two ways that we're going to talk about tonight, and that is through greenhouse gas emissions, which we'll talk a little bit about later, and then just the effects that consumerism, manufacturing, and other industrial practices have on our planet that generate waste. So essentially, when we make our consumer goods, we are using our planet's resources. So when we throw things away in excess, that's throwing away all of our resources, all the water used to make something, all the crude oil to make our plastics. These are resources that we need to continue to survive, and we don't want to fill our landfills up with them. So I really like this picture. That's an ad for an incinerator. People used to burn their trash, so just imagine the pollutants that we would be breathing if people still burned their trash. I don't know if you can see, but that is for an incinerator pickup in Highland. So that's happened right here. People burned their trash well into the 1970s. If you guys ever heard of a Slim Jim, that was a type of incinerator that people could put in their backyard. Popular in LA County into the 70s. Some people still do burn their trash in parts of unincorporated areas of California. You can get permits to burn your trash. I'm most familiar with that in Santa Barbara in New Cuyama. If anyone's heard of a little tiny place called New Cuyama, yeah. Because it's so rural, they do allow trash burning permits there. So we've made progress, but we still have some more ways to go. So besides those issues with solid waste and the ways that trash is affecting our planet and our environmental health, what are we going to do about it, right? So we have to address these issues by, one, safely managing the waste that we do create, because No one here is completely zero waste. I don't believe you if you say that. There's trash. Everyone makes trash. So we have to manage that safely, and that's where Mike's awesome operation team comes in, and who services your residences, maybe if you lived in the City of Redlands. And then we have to set goals to reduce our waste and related emissions from solid waste. So we have a responsibility to try to tackle solid waste and create programs to help residents do the same as well as businesses. And so that can be done by providing waste reduction education and programs throughout the community, like what Mike and I are doing tonight. These are some pictures of a mailer that Mike and I worked on that you might have received in your utility insert. So just on reducing your single-use plastics, and gotta give a shout out to Ron Running and all of his awesome knowledge and his recent talk about single-use plastic reduction. So speaking of goal setting, many of the city's climate action goals and actions are all included in the climate action plan, where we plan out all of our goals and actions. This document was passed by the City Council on July 1. It was created to understand the state of the climate in Redlands, quantify the current greenhouse gas emissions, use that information to identify climate actions and what we need to do, and then set goals and progress monitoring to make sure we are getting those done. So I know a lot of people in this room are well aware of the Climate Action Plan, which is awesome. You may know that other things are in the Climate Action Plan. It's not just trash, but things like transportation, addressing the built environment, addressing wastewater, potable water, water conservation, and then carbon sequestration, which is planting plants of all kinds, especially trees, to provide shade and provide carbon sequestration, which is pulling pollutants out of the atmosphere. Plants need carbon dioxide to survive, and so they help us clean the air too. So we had a few other talks about what is included in the Climate Action Plan. Obviously, we're talking about solid waste here tonight. Solid waste is a really, really important part of the Climate Action Plan to me, because it may not have the greatest greenhouse gas reduction potential. You all know that transportation is our biggest issue here, and that's also the biggest issue in the state of California. That sector creates the most greenhouse gases. Solid waste creates so much as a fraction of that. However, solid waste is really important because everyone creates trash, so everybody can help. Everyone can learn something new about trash and recycling. It's a great way for Mike and I to come out into the community because people really, really care about trash. Not everyone can buy an electric car, but everyone can do their part in reducing waste or making sure your waste goes into the right spot. So solid waste is really important to me for many, many, many reasons, but in the eyes of the Climate Action Plan, that's why it's such a significant piece of it. So there's a ton of solid waste measures in the Climate Action Plan. I'm not going to go through all of them tonight. However, we'll go through kind of two categories that they're in. So we are aiming to up our landfill diversion. So by increasing landfill diversion, that means that we are increasing recycling, composting, and other means of proper disposal. When I talk about that kind of etc. category, that's like hazardous waste and electronics. You shouldn't be putting those in the trash, that's bad. That is very toxic for our environment. Mike, you've had some experiences from battery fires.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I have driven trucks, solid waste trucks, for probably about 10 years out of the 18 I've been here, and I've had 2 truck fires myself. One of them was guaranteed to be a battery fire, and that's not even a car battery, it's just a small, probably like an RC fire, or RC battery, caused a big fire out of the truck. The other one, I'm not sure what it is, but we have about 1 fire every 3 or 4 months in these trucks that we have to dump on the streets, and the fire department has to come out. If not, if we don't dump it fast enough, the trucks are just engulfed in flames, and it probably blow up with the LNG and CNG in there.
Yeah.
Just because I think they're the smallest little batteries.
Real. guys, it's real. So, unfortunately, 2 people have died in San Bernardino County because of a battery fire in a garbage truck. This is something that you don't want to be that person who threw that battery away, right? So you just got to keep those out of the trash. Same thing with paint, same thing with fluorescent light bulbs. Hazardous waste is all around us. My favorite tip about hazardous waste is to use it. So if you use your hazardous waste for its intended purpose, then that's great. That's what it's safety rated for. That's what it's intended to do. We don't want that extra hazardous waste floating around and ending up in the landfill or hurting some of our recycling workers. So does everyone know where the hazardous waste drop-off is here in Redlands? Okay, awesome. So for those who don't know, it's on Kansas Street. It's Saturdays from 9 to 12?
9:30 to 12.
9:30 to 12. Our hazardous waste is all managed by the San Bernardino County Fire Department. Emphasis on fire because it is that dangerous. We need, it takes a lot to handle hazardous waste. Yeah, and so proper disposal isn't just composting and recycling. There's so much more, but composting and recycling is where most of our waste is, and so that's what we focus on. If you have any other questions about that hard to handle stuff, just go ahead and ask Mike or I. You can also call the city, and we're happy to make sure that that goes to the right spot. So our climate action plan really covers that diversion piece and then that education piece, which I talked a little bit about earlier, where we want to expand programs to educate the community on solid waste services and help residents reduce their waste. Again, what we're doing here. Specifically, our diversion goal is 75% by 2050. And so that's a pretty high goal. That also matches what the state's trying to do. And so that's all of our waste. So that means 75% of all waste generated in Redlands is not going to the landfill. Our climate action plan has a ton of other stuff in it about solid waste. A lot of it includes compliance with local solid waste regulations. California has a lot of really, really great solid waste regulations that I know sometimes can be like a little red tapey, but it's really pushing the bar forward in solid waste and creating a lot of means for innovation in the trash world. If you ever seen like a materials recovery facility, like the one in Fontana that Vertec operates, it's like a space station, right? Whoever has been there before. So yeah, just to emphasize again, everyone makes trash, so we need everyone's help to make sure it goes to the right spot. So we've talked a little bit about greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gases generated by trash is kind of unique. You might be thinking like, oh, are those trash cans just like fuming with NOx or methane? Maybe, hopefully not. But the main offender here is methane gas. Does everyone know what methane gas is? Oh, no one? Okay, good. Okay, so methane gas is a greenhouse gas. It is 84 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is kind of like a love-hate relationship, right? We need carbon dioxide to live, but too much of it is a bad thing. Plants need it to survive. They need it to make food for us. So carbon dioxide is good sometimes when we have just the right amount of it. Methane is bad. Methane lives in the atmosphere 84 times more potent than carbon dioxide, and that's in warming potential. So methane heats up our atmosphere, and most of that's caused when organics decompose in the landfill and they do not have oxygen. Without oxygen, the chemical process of decomposition generates methane gas. And then in nature, when something dies and lays on the forest floor, it has oxygen, it decomposes, and that's kind of like the circle of life in a nutshell. But in a landfill, we're not mimicking that environment, and that's where our methane is coming from related to trash. So let's talk about Redlands. We generate a lot of waste in Redlands, an average of 5.5 pounds per person per day. Okay, not that bad though, guys, not that bad. The average in America is 4.5 pounds per person per day. Everyone knows where I worked previously, but I'm not gonna name names, but I've seen cities with 15 pounds per person per day. So Yeah, we're not that bad. This is actually, we have attainable goals that we can set, right? Pasadena residents, just for comparison's sake, generate 6.3 pounds of waste per person per day. Where we need to improve is, look at how skewed those numbers are. We need to make sure that landfill number goes down, the recycling number goes up, and that composting number goes up. That's what we need to do. Most, like 90%, I'm trying to remember the fact right now, of recyclables are lost at the household level. So when recyclables come to us, we're able to capture a lot of them, but most of the recyclables that we want to sell as commodities are lost at the household level. So it's really important that Mike and I are coming to these events and educating the public. So how do we do this? We have the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle. Who knows to reduce, reuse, recycle? Okay, good. Well, there's 6, so we're all about to learn the 3 additional R's tonight. I also just want to say that one thing that trash can really help us understand and why it's so important is because reducing, reusing, and recycling is really the fundamentals of a sustainable lifestyle, right? We want to reduce our impact on the earth, we want to reuse our resources, we want to reuse energy, we want to use renewable resources, we want to recycle our goods, we want to encourage that circular economy. So when you start learning more and more about trash, it really just builds the fundamentals of sustainability. So again, it's just really important, guys. So we have our 6 R's, which is refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose, rot, and recycle. Some of these R's may sound repetitive, but this is more about the exercise of thinking about the items that we bring into our lives and the end of their useful life. So it's just about kind of expanding parameters that we set up for ourselves in society, all that stuff, and just kind of making sure we are thinking really critically. And last fact is that, remember, it's the 6 R's in that order. So we need to focus our energy on the R's early in the list and resort to the later R's later on, because if we use the early R's, then we won't need the later R's, right? And then we have the dreaded L. What does the dreaded L stand for? Does anyone want to shout it out? Landfill, yeah. So the dreaded L. We don't even want to talk about the L, right? We'll talk about the L a little bit. So yeah, and we want to think about the L once we've got through the rest of the list. So we'll briefly go through the R's. Refuse. Don't create waste in the first place. Just say no. Say no to swag, say no to hand-me-downs, even if it's like your very cherished sibling or aunt. Just say, sorry, I won't use it. Someone else will use it. You want to not create waste in the first place. Refusing eliminates the need for the next R's. So just remember that you can refuse, especially swag items. Not stuff you need. This is good swag. That's really good swag. Reduce, AKA buy only what you need. Only what you need, and invest in reusables and be selective about your purchases. Again, it's that thinking critically about what we bring into our lives. Reducing, another way we can reduce is reducing our food waste, finding ways to use scraps instead of composting them. Next up is reuse. Reduce and reuse go hand in hand. My tip here is make sure you are reusing your reusables. Don't buy something and let it sit around and then forget about it and buy it again. Reuse your reusables. Shop and donate to secondhand stores. There's plenty in Redlands of awesome, really large thrift stores here. And then reuse what you already have. If you have an iPhone that works, you might not need the newest iPhone. So just making sure you reuse what you already have. So repurpose. Repurpose is kind of a fun one. It's how we can find new life in items that may not work for their original intent. Turning old t-shirts, and some of this we do naturally, right? We don't even think about it in a waste reduction sense. We're already doing this. But it's really good to get our minds thinking about waste reduction when we do cut old t-shirts into rags. Like, we all do have at least once in our lives. Use yogurt tubs as containers for knickknacks. Craft. If you have kids and a hot glue gun, you can make a lot of stuff with trash. Rot is my favorite, aka composting. It's like recycling, but for organic waste. Composting is really important for all the reasons why we said today. We need to get those organics out of the landfill. And it also creates compost, which can be used to grow plants. It can be used as a soil amendment in major farms. So when you compost in an industrial setting, like when you put your organic waste into your green container, which Mike is going to talk about in a second, that's all going to local farms once that's composted. It's a really, really good commodity that farmers want and need. And so not only is it good for the planet, but it's encouraging the natural cycle of plant life and also creating products out on the market. Worm composting is my favorite way to do it. If you want to start a composting bin at home, I have some pamphlets over there about worm composting. Those aren't worm bins, but that's just for, well, Mike will explain what they are. But yeah, worm bins are really fun and easy to use. Last is recycling. Recycling process has environmental impacts and doesn't help the reduction of waste. However, recycling is still critical for building a circular economy and an important part of landfill diversion. So once you've gone through all these 6 R's, you may still have trash, which is totally okay. We all will have trash. But now we're going to talk about ways that you can make sure you're smart about your trash in Redlands, make sure you're putting it in the right bin, and a little bit more about how it's handled. So I'm going to pass it over to Mike just to talk about solid waste services and the rest.
Well, thank you, Caitlin. You always do such a great job. And yeah, question
Can
right
you
here.
explain what a solid waste is? What do you guys define as solid waste?
Solid waste is refuse that goes into our landfill, or even just refuse in general that can be turned into recycling, compost, anything. It's just any hard waste, because we do have wastewater, which goes into our, it's what goes down the drain. That's not my department, but so we're solid waste. It's anything that's has durability, Anyways, once again, thank you. Thank you for that. It's always hard going after. She's such a great speaker. And since our time slot is very minimal now,
Advance the slide there.
It's probably a good thing our time slot is a little bit smaller because I'm not the best public speaker. But anyways, here we go. Once again, I've been with solid waste for 18 years, so I know a lot about the industry. I'm going to cut to the chase. The main reason I'm here is just to educate everybody on what the city has to offer and what we can do, as residents to help get this out of our landfill. That's the #1 goal. We want everything, as much as possible, out of our landfill. So, of course, we have our green bin. Everybody who's a resident here, your green waste bin where all your yard clippings go, your yard waste, your tree clippings. We just got a program where we can commingle our organic food waste in there as well. So, is everybody familiar with that? Well, that's good. That's a good start. So a lot of people still don't understand that or haven't really got the outreach or heard of that yet. But yeah, we want all of our food waste to go into our green waste bin and commingle it with our green waste carts, with our green waste. And that's what these pails are here for. Cal Recycle, this is a grant some grant money we got that helps educate customers and helps give them the opportunity to put their organic waste in a bucket in the kitchen to where there's not a lot of smell and it's easy to transport out to your green waste cart. That's the main reason, instead of throwing it in a bag, because unfortunately, our processor that processes our green waste and our organic waste does not want bags. And the biggest complaint I get is, what about composting bags? What about the ones you get in the vegetable aisle? I said, unfortunately, they do not want those bags. It's mind-blowing to me, but so we offer these. If you guys want one at the end of the night, just go over there, put your address down for me, and take one. They're free, of course. So it just helps the customers get the organic food into your green waste cart. Recycling, blue cart, you want to throw as much as possible in there. 1, 2, and 5 number plastics, and then aluminum, steel, anything. PVC pipes, the ones that cut down. There's so much you can put in the recycling bin. And then of course trash, that's the naughty one. That's what we do not want. Unfortunately, there's some items that have to go in there as they are listed. But we want as much as possible not to go into our landfill. So with that being said, like I said, the main reason I'm here is just to educate everybody and let everybody know that we offer free services for recycling. The city is one of the only ones that does that. We incorporated it in the bill, but it still have free service. So if you guys want a recycling cart, an additional one, call up the city, get it one. You can have 4 or 5. I don't know how many people have Amazon boxes on their porch, on their doorstep every day. And sometimes those blue cans, they get full. So what do? It's full, but my trash is empty. Let me put my cardboard in my trash. That's the last thing we want to do. If you guys have an abundance of recyclables, if it's cans, cardboard, whatever, call the city, get yourself another free blue can. That's the same thing with green waste. If you guys have a large yard and you only have 1 can and some of that yard clippings goes into your refuse bin, your trash bin, call the city. The only thing with green waste, you can have up to 3 for free. After that, they do charge you. But recycling cans, get as many as you want. I'll be happy to deliver them out to you guys. It helps get, out of our trash out of our landfill, or recyclables, organics out of our landfill. The big thing is our landfill, we're city-owned landfill. Does anybody know that we have our own landfill within the city? We're one of the only cities that has our own landfill, and one of the only cities that actually pick up trash. It's a city-owned operation. And the reason we were able to do that and keep the bill a lot smaller of a cost is because we own our own landfill. If we did not own our landfill, everybody's rates would skyrocket. Waste Management, Vertec, they have a lot higher rates. They come into cities and they give you the world, they say it's going to be so low. 5 years later, it's double the amount. So we've had a few rate increases over the years, but at the end of the day, we're still a lot lower just because we own a landfill. So to get the story to everyone, the less that goes in the landfill, the longer the landfill lasts, the lower your rates are. So. This is a basic rundown of what they are. Commercials on the right-hand side, you'll see some commercial businesses that have tan carts. They are organics for commercial businesses, but most residents, this is what you have. You have green, either black or gray, and blue. I'm here to answer any questions you all have, and let's get going. All right. Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm concerned that I keep seeing different things. Bones are included in the organic?
Yes, so I've been in this position for 8 months now, and our previous recycling coordinator, there was a little bit of hiccups with the verbiage on the website, and a lot of that had to do with the processor. Our processing facility, at first, they said no bones. This was when the contract started 2 years ago, so that's what the recycling coordinator put in there, and when I came in here, I kept hearing, yeah, you can put bones in, right? But no, they said no, so I made a call, they said, yeah, I don't know where to change. Yes, bones are allowed. Yes, sir.
When you put the previous slide had some styrofoam containers on the trash one. So can you tell us a little about styrofoam? And then I also saw like a milk carton. I was trying to rinse those out and thinking it's cardboard to put it in the recyclables. But are there certain things you would say, if there's food and stuff in it, you can't put those in the recycle section? And can you talk about both of those? Styrofoam.
So styrofoam, a lot of people think it's recyclable just because I think it comes with the cardboard. And a lot of people are like, oh, cardboard recycled foam, this can get recycled. No, it just gets crumbled down and it just turns into a big mess that gets stuck in conveyor belts and just turns into a blob, especially if any kind of heat's in there. It just becomes more of a nuisance. So it is not recyclable. There's nothing you can do. It melts, it shatters. There's nothing you can do with styrofoam as of right now. So that does go in your trash. Milk cartons, I've had a few different, ways of looking at these because it's all based on the plastics, 1, 2, and 5. That's what our processor takes. So some milk jugs, it depends. Are they carton? Are they plastic? What type of plastic? You got to see the back label. And if it's 1, 2, or 5, our processor will take it. If it's not, they won't. And that's just, you'll go to a jurisdiction like Riverside, and they may have a different processor, and they're like, well, Riverside takes everything. Unfortunately, the processor we pay to take our commingled recyclables only take 1, 2, and 5 plastics. Is that it for that question? Yes,
The
ma'am.
numbers, I once asked the city what numbers you took, and you took everything from 1 to 7. Now you're limiting?
Yeah, so this is what gets confused sometimes. Our processor says if there is different numbers in the load, they do whatever they possibly can to divert as much as they can out of their facility. And this really depends on, I have this right here. It states if a new market opens, so there's different markets for different numbers. And eventually, or not eventually, but sometimes if, let's just say, a laundry detergent one goes in there and that's not a 1, 2, or 5, but there's a market for it at the time, and it's kind of like the stock market. It goes up and down and up and down. If there's a market for it, they will divert it and they will process it.
So when do you change the numbers? Because it was years ago that I was told you take all these numbers. Now you're limited.
So years ago, ma'am, I'm not sure if we had, let me take that back. About 3 years ago, we had a different processor. They were called Republic. And once again, you know, you may go to Riverside, you may go to Loma Linda, they may have a different processor. We had Republic, and I'm sure it just depends on what they take. Our processor right now is Vertex. Vertex is pretty strict. They want 1, 2, and 5. Once again, to piggyback off that, they do say they try to take whatever they can out of that, because of course, the more that they don't ship out, the more goes into landfill, the more that it charges them as well for residue. Yes, ma'am.
Not to argue this point, but what she said, I talked, I think it was last year at Earth Day event at Stoughton? No, at the library. Smiley. I talked to, I forget his name, Robert, somebody who was like the regional sales.
Richard?
And he told me, which just struck me, considering what we're talking about, they take any number, anything without numbers. City of Redlands was handing out plastic stuff as freebies. There was no number on it, it was plastic.
Oh, the little
And
wooden spoons,
all that
plastic
stuff.
spoons.
So, he said we take anything with a number, any number, doesn't matter if it has a number, we take styrofoam, we take peanuts, we take shopping bags, anything that's plastic, period. So it's weird that we're hearing all these different things from the big guy at Vertec even.
Okay, well, the thing that I'm assuming he's referring to, because we have a strict policy, 1, 2, and 5 plastics, no styrofoam, no this, and it goes to that facility. What I'm assuming they're saying is their facility separates every bit of it. Like I said, if there's a market for, let's just say, laundry detergent, and there's a market for it, they'll send it out. But if there's not, they also handle trash over there as well. So I assume they want so they're gonna get paid either way. They're gonna want every bit of our trash, because they can sort through it, they can send out the recyclables, and then they charge us for our trash that goes to their recycling plant. So I'm sure that's kind of what they're getting at. We'll take whatever, we'll sift through it, but at the end of the day, it's very strict for what we're allowed to give them. And they do have monthly audits on our loads.
That's so amazing, because when he told me that, everything that's anything plastic went in there.
Yeah,
Can I piggyback off of that?
Yes.
I also talked to them. They
Yeah.
told me the same thing. I drilled down on them last year, and they said they do not take styrofoam. They only take styrofoam from like Ashley's Furniture in big amounts, because that they were making things, they had somebody for it. But they were not taking out of the trash.
and that kind of piggybacks off of the market. So, you know, like a lot of these warehouses, they have the wraps that go around the boxes that they wrap the whole entire pallets with, all that wrap, that goes in the trash. But if you have a whole entire roll-off of this, it can be just recycled at their plant. It's like, it contradicts itself. You don't want it in the recycling cart, because it gets stuck in their belt. But if you have a whole entire roll-off bin, a whole entire huge truckload of it, you send it to them, they have a way to mark it in and get rid of it. So I think there is a fine line, but this is based off what we have, 1, 2, and 5 plastics. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this might get out of your scope, but do you happen to know where you can turn in pharmaceuticals?
You. Yes, go ahead.
So, in pharmacies across Redlands, there are kiosks that you can dispose of your pharmaceuticals in, not sharps, but any pills or, even in the container, you can cross it off, you can scratch your name off if you want, but yeah, there's one in the CVS over downtown, there's a bunch, and they are called, through the program called Med Project, and it's a state regulation that the pharmacy companies have to provide these medical kiosks.
Let's take one more question, and then we're gonna go on with the rest of the program. So go ahead.
I have a suggestion. You have shoes under trash. Well, for many years, I've known that DSW in town takes old shoes. I also give you credit for their
Clothes.
That's
either old, good, usable or recyclable. And just the other day, I was in Nike, and they have a bin. They all brands, all conditions. They recycle the rubber, they do everything. I just found out. So you have 2 places to get rid of shoes.
That's very good knowledge, and thank you for that. And that kind of goes back to the R's, the reuse, and, recycle, give it to other people, give it to Goodwill, and things of that nature. So thank you for that. You want to take one more question? Or?
One more short question, please.
We're told to wash the containers before we recycle them. Is that still true?
Well, that's touchy as well. That kind of goes back to what Burtech has told me and what Burtech has told people. So if there's not, let's just say you have a milk carton that is a 1, 2, or 5 milk carton. Let's just say there's a small residual on the very bottom. There's so much heat that gets involved from what I've heard from the director over there at Burtech, it doesn't matter. Now if you have a milk carton that's a quarter full, yeah, I would dump it out. But as for rinsing it out, and they say soiled, doesn't want to go in there. Like if you have a soiled pizza box, you don't want in there anything soiled, like really stuck to it. But I don't believe that a small percentage of liquid would matter. Anything soiled onto it, actually like stuck to it. So that's kind of how to answer that one.
Okay, well, let's give these people a hand. And now we're going to turn to Christy Cooper.
Hello, hope everybody's doing good tonight. I'm Christy Cooper with Feel Good Market. We have a little sustainable store over by Savern's Valley, and we try to do things the best we can. We're not perfect. But there's so many like small things that you can do during the holidays to kind of not have such a big impact. And some of them I do, some of them I practice, some of them I think are just really cool, and I don't have the bandwidth right now to do it, and I can't do everything, I don't need everything. So, but I want to share with you some of the things that I think are really neat. And I'm going to start off with my favorite quote. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. There you go. Okay. We don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it perfectly. And this is the quote of our store. We like to say that, if everybody's doing their piece, then we're all going to be a lot farther. And I love this quote because it came out in like 2020, and I think it gave the people who thought that they had to put all their trash in a jar a little bit of breathing room and say, I can participate without not doing the things that I love. So, talk about trees first. So, we're talking about decorations for the holidays. So what is it, a real tree, a fake tree, no tree? What's the best? So I like to talk about fresh trees. There's lots of fresh Christmas tree farms nearby. The Monterey pine is actually local, supposedly to California. When you do a real tree, it's putting oxygen into the air while it's growing. You are cutting it down. You can mulch it afterwards. Don't miss that date that they're going to pick it up. But, it's one option. The next option is fake trees. So a fake tree, if you are not buying the tree originally, and you're getting it through a thrift store, you're getting it secondhand. I mean, personally, if you're buying something, or you're getting something that was not, you did not tell that company to put in to here, and you're extending its life before it's going to a landfill, enjoy it. This is Redlands Thrift. They had a forest last year. So if you need a big Christmas tree, here's an option for you. On the next pictures, these are alternatives. But I think people get really creative and different alternatives for a Christmas tree. If you celebrate Christmas, not everybody celebrates Christmas, but if you celebrate Christmas, there's lots of things that you can do differently and give a different perspective of how you want to celebrate. And so here's some more. That's really cool. A lot of these are very natural. And of course, if your lights go out, please, when they're done, I think you have, are those, the lights you have to go through, the waste disposal. Don't put them in your trash. So, anyways, here's some ideas. Hazardous waste. And I did love, I saw a lot of places that did the ceiling instead of actually doing a tree. And so if you have a small place, you can get really creative. And you can get a lot of these days at the thrift store. You can get them, naturally. You can get them, handed down. I have so much stuff handed down from my family. I'll never have to go buy Christmas decorations. But some ideas. Make sure I got through all of those. When you are looking for decorations, some things that you can think about is thrifting ornaments or decorating, for decorations. You can upcycle things that you find, like I said, hand-down things. One of my favorite years was when my husband started in CHP.
we didn't have a lot of money. My kids and I went to a thrift store. We decided from now on we're doing eclectic Christmas. We walked out with 2 bags of great stuff. It's still the same stuff we use every year. And really got rid of the whole designer Christmas thing where people would take every year, their whole tree had to be a theme. And so like kind of getting away with that, being able to enjoy the holidays, enjoy the things you love, but doing it in a sustainable way, using the things that you already have. Other things, if you are going to decorate, like I said, using keepsakes, staying away from plastic junk that's just disposable is going to be, trash the next year. Focus on natural stuff, focus on upcycling things. It's like on here. Okay. Also during the holiday season, if you're going to be getting decorations, look for things that you absolutely love, that you want to keep for a long time. Things that are fair trade, things that are support local and handmade artists, things that are consumable. Like there's nothing wrong with going back to making a popcorn stream for your tree, and it could be fun and start a new tradition. And things that things that last for years, stuff like that, and kind of switching gears to what we already have. Next thing here, candles. So if you're a candle person, not burning that petroleum candle, it's gross. Candles are made with what do you call it, wax that's from petroleum sometimes. There's other alternatives. There's soy, there's beeswax, there's coconut wax. And making sure that these things that you're burning aren't putting toxins into the air. Make sure that they're clean, they're a clean fragrance. And even some essential oils, when they're put into the air, can be toxic. And staying away from those and understanding that. Sorry if I talk fast. Some other things you can do instead of candles, you can refill your candle. We do offer that. You can use a candle warmer. Has anybody seen those before? So you can warm your candle. It doesn't actually light it on fire. Or stovetop potpourri, which is simple to make, things from home. You can use actually cuttings from your yard. You can use oranges. You can use cinnamon sticks. And it lasts for like a week. And it gives you that feeling, probably even better than a candle. But yeah, it's called candle alternatives for your holidays. Sorry, gift wrapping. Okay, for me, days of gift wrapping are over. I was so tired of gift wrapping. I'm not going to be that family where, does anybody remember the days of Dad or Grandpa, and there's like presents all over the place, and you have a big old bag of trash, and on trash day, you got like 4, trash cans full of stuff? Thinking about doing it a little bit differently. So if you are going to gift wrap, we have what we call a gift and a gift. So you use something you are gifting to wrap the present. So we have like a mug that we're going to put, you can get whatever you want. We're just bringing examples for you. So we have a gift and a gift, and then the second one is a dish towel that we used to do it. And there is a name for that knot that I always screw up, but really it's just a square knot. Super simple, but you can do a gift and a gift. Another way to wrap is to wrap on something that, if you need to, is using recyclable gift wrap, which is, we're going to show, we got our boxes, and then we also have some paper that we found that is actually like recyclable. And when I say recyclable, it means that it doesn't have a coating, it doesn't have glitter on it, it doesn't have all of that stuff, so it can actually be recycled. Recycled paper wrap, we talk about here, we're talking about taking something that you already have, maybe a Trader Joe's bag, turn it inside out, using that. My favorite one is this one down here that actually give a crap about paper wrapping. So it's one of my things. It's a really cool paper, and if you fold it the right way, it doesn't even say that anymore. We also have reusable gift bags. That's kind of one of our favorite things right now, a reusable gift bag. So you can use a gift bag, and you can use it over and over again. And then the last thing is just don't even wrap it. That's kind of like part of my life, I have to say. I might be a Scrooge, I don't know, but I've wrapped presents for a long time. I've got 3 kids. My oldest is 27, and those days stayed up. I'm over it. Last year was absolutely wonderful. We have stockings. We put our stuff in our stockings, and the kids know that, you know, we have gifts for them, but, you know, we're doing the same thing, and the gifts are very well thought out beforehand. But anyway, so we have that type of thing. Moving on. Some of our favorite gift ideas. If you are still gifting, some people don't do gifts anymore, some people do. But if you are, the things that are commodities, useful, they're edible, you know, they're not going to be around on this planet for years to come. You know, so think of those kind of things. Experiences, giving somebody experience, going to dinner with them, play a game with them. Buy a soap making class. I don't know. So stuff like that, you know, do something different, do an experience. Gift cards, electric gift cards, it's double bonus right there, right? There's not even any like paper or anything. Our gift cards are plastic, that's the way Skirt does it, but we reuse them over and over again until we can't anymore. But anyways, and then regifting is in. Did you guys know that? I think that's the coolest thing ever. When I was a kid, my mom would be like, oh no, you can't do that. Yes, you can. Totally. Regift it. If it's not something that is for you and you know that this person would really love it, give it to them. Oh, that would be not weird. But anyways, make something. Make jam, make banana bread, you know? Make stovetop potpourri. Like, make something from the heart usually means more anyways. And then pre-love or second hand. We have a little theory that if it's pre-loved, if it's second hand, you know, there's no boundaries to it. You didn't have that company make it. So if there's something that you like that you love at the thrift store that's second hand, and it's, you know, even if it's plastic and you love it, you know, you're just extending its life. So use it, appreciate it. And then, I love this one, thank you. Refurbished items. Like, use refurbished electronics, stuff like that. My mom used to work for Whirlpool. Sent me back one year with 4 KitchenAid mixers, all refurbished. Keep them in the landfill. Great Christmas presents. If you're giving, that's an idea. Okay, so when you're having that party, ditch the single-use plastic. We got so many better options. You can use real plates and silverware, plus people won't take as many plates. They'll use one plate when it's a real plate, and hopefully they stick around for dishes. You can borrow them from other people. You can rent them. I just met a lady recently who has a business where she rents plates. So she'll bring the plates to you, rent them, and you don't have to take care of them. You don't have to store them. When you're done, you just give them back. A wonderful thing. I kind of like this one. I've done this one. Thrift them and then donate it back. So you can thrift them. You know, you're helping a good cause. After the holiday, you don't need them. Just donate them back to them. And it's very reasonable, depending on what you're thrifting. If you do really know disposable plates, consider palm. These are palm plates. So they're pressed palm leaves. They're usually made in areas where people, you know, they're fair trade and, they're not usually made in the United States, but they're palm plates and they're actually washable and microwave safe, which is crazy. So if you want to use your palm plates forever, you can. Yeah, they're kind of cool. All right. Respect the cloth. I saw this a long time ago and I love it. Using real cloth napkins. People respect it. They don't get more, and sometimes they don't even want to touch it. So it's a great thing so that, you know, just respect the cloth and use your napkins, and you can use, you know, simple ones, fancy ones, doesn't matter, whatever you have. Leftovers. Some things you can do with leftovers is ask friends and family if they want to bring their own container. You make soup from them. We bought a book today that I think is so fun. It's called about scrappy leftovers. It's like scrappy cooking. It's making food from your scraps, including like if you're having the holiday scraps. But yeah, just some ideas.
ANCA, eBay, Depop, Vintage. There's all these places now that you can actually buy secondhand. And I didn't even get into like the men's section, because there's a whole bunch of men's places too, besides. And these are all online, but also we have a lot of great thrift stores around here. But you can also borrow. You know, sometimes if you need something for just once, it's just not worth it. Somebody taught me one time the cost per wear method. So if you talk about something that you're gonna wear it twice and it costs you $200, that's $100 per wear. But if you wait for something that you actually love and you're gonna wear it 50 times and it costs $200, it's so worth it. So think about the cost per wear. Anyways, I can borrow from a friend or family member. You can rent. Renting is fun because you might rent something that you would never normally purchase or even have the means to purchase. And you can rent it and feel like a, you know, princess or prince for the night and then return it afterwards. And you don't have to take care of it. Thrift is always a great choice, or just waiting to purchase something that you actually really, really love and want and are going to keep for a very long time. Things, I love this, was it Marie Kondo? Yeah. Spark joy. So if you have things that just don't, and you need to get rid of them, make sure that you either find it to use, sell it. I heard this, I thought it was so great. So if you sell something to somebody, the chances of them using it are going to be greater because they came over, they paid money for it. So if you have something that you are not using and you put it on OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace, a lot better chance that they're going to use it. If you can't sell it, you can list it for free. The fact that they drove over to your house or to meet you ensures that there's a better chance they're actually going to use it. That doesn't work, and you can donate it. But another way for things is the take back bag. Has anybody heard of that? So take back bag is by a company named Trashy, and they will take the things that you are not using. There's a fee. I think it's like $25 for a bag. And you can put those old tennis shoes, unless, like, you'll take them, but old tennis shoes that have holes in them, you can put clothes that are just ripped up and stained, you can't donate them. We don't, and you could use them for rags, but if you have enough rags, okay, or you have something that is just, you're like, I really don't even want to clean my house with that. So if that's the case, you can do the Take Back Bag by Trashy, and they will, you can turn it into them, they give you $25 credit to their store online. And they take things that you just really, you know, nobody wants to donate bras and underwear to a thrift store usually. You just don't. Trashy, Take Back Bag, they take it, no problem. And then TerraCycle. TerraCycle's great too. So things like your Christmas lights, batteries, stuff like that, TerraCycle is an outlet. You do pay for it, but they ensure that they're actually going to have these things, you know, out of the landfill, which is awesome. So, all that being said, what did I miss? Please tell me your favorite, if anybody has a favorite sustainable holiday tip that they want to share. I could not have covered everything.
It's not holiday per se,
Yeah.
it's all the time. We started, and now we're getting a few of them, and keeping the takeout containers,
Yeah.
washing them, and then keeping them in a bag,
Oh, nice.
reusable, while
Yeah.
in the car, go to restaurants,
Beautiful.
and run out and get it if nothing else.
Yeah.
Because, God, every time you bring one home, you're throwing it in the trash.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Me?
Yeah.
I'll share my experience with, I think, about 3 of the things that you suggested that were worthy of doing, or just a different way of doing things, but buying for my daughter and my granddaughter an experience at Feel Good Market to learn how to make soap.
Oh.
You know, there's a class, they have classes that they offer, and doing that with my children and grandchildren was an incredible, great experience. I learned how to make soap, and I learned a lot about making soap. So Christy didn't even get into that, but, and then you take your soap home, and you have to let it cure for a while, and then you slice it into the bars, and I gave those as gifts to people, and I was so proud of myself. So I just felt it was a triple whammy, and I felt good about it for sustainability and knowledge that I gained, plus the most important one was just being with my kids and grandkids. So that's a plug for, that's
So
so
I
many for us.
appreciate you.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We convinced our kids, since all three of us have everything we need and we don't want stuff anymore, we convinced them that we exchange charitable gifts each year.
Nice.
And so they give to ANCA and we give to whatever they choose.
I love that. Oh, yes, sir.
Can you tell us more about what got you started on Feel Good Market?
Oh, I've been here for a long time. I was a Girl Scout. I'm a Girl Scout leader. I was a Girl Scout leader, Cub Scout leader, always been a tree hugger. So when the opportunity came that I got the opportunity to, I guess, start making a difference in what little way I could, I kind of just embraced it, I guess. And so, long story short, maybe if I talk your ear off, it's really bad. But yeah, it's something close to my heart. And when the stars aligned and there was an opening for me, I took it.
Is everyone here familiar with this store? Because it's life-changing.
It's an amazing store.
Oh, thank you.
I heard months ago that there was a new law in California that textiles have to be recycled. Things that are broken, if you can't donate, you can't do anything with it, you don't want to make rags out of it. And I haven't heard any more about it, like who's taking this, where do we drop it off?
I haven't heard anything about
I think it's a
textiles.
law.
Really? Because that's really.
Anybody hear about that?
I can get your, I've heard something vaguely about that, I can get your information, I can look more into it and let you know. I don't know the exact answer.
Maybe like things over, I'm gonna be really sad.
SB 707, it's a textile stewardship law, and it is still in its rulemaking process. It just passed, which is a huge win, but it's not going to be implemented anytime soon because it has to go through rulemaking. But you're right that it exists.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah. With the advent, especially when elderly parent dies and you have this whole estate, there's a lot of proliferation of these, if you've got junk, they have the big trailers that will come and get junk. I'm just wondering, maybe the city of Redlands can comment, or maybe you don't want to, but how good are these businesses about recycling or, or reusing when you hire you've got junk and they take a whole trailer full of stuff away?
So I can answer that. Realistically, they're not allowed to do that in the city of Redlands. We are a private hauler, we are our own hauler, we have rights to the city. And what those companies do is they take them to a landfill.
Oh.
Yeah, 90% of them, unless you get a specific one that is specifically for clean wood, clean aluminum, and those are very rare to find. So they go straight to landfill, all these ones, and honestly, they're not even allowed in the city. So when we see them in the city, we do talk to them, because we'll see them in people's yards and stuff, and we have rights to the refuse within the city. So.
Okay, let's give Christy a big hand. Now we're going to have you work a little bit. And Linda's going to do this, if you'd like. She's going to wrap it up. But this is a question for the table. Give them a few minutes.
Thank you. It's great to see everybody here tonight. This is such as Caitlin said, it was such an important topic. I mean, we're drowning in waste. We really got to get serious about this, right? So I'm really grateful to have everybody here. Do I need the microphone?
No.
No? Oh, great. Okay, wonderful. All right. So this is our table conversation for tonight. How can residents significantly reduce waste over the next 5 years? What is the key thing that people can do? Not just a little bit, but like, how can we make a significant dent in our waste problem if we really all got serious about it and talk to everybody we know about it and so forth? So we'll give you about, how much time do we have, Dick?
5 minutes.
Only 5 minutes? Okay.
7.
7 minutes, okay. All right, so just talk me through your table, and then we'll take a few minutes just to hear from each table real quick what you came up with. Okay.
started. I thought we were gonna get a lot
So ad campaign is your big idea. Okay, yeah. Why don't we do more of that? Okay. Okay, this is a table.
I'm gonna take the executive because it was a question I didn't get to ask. I think if you could put your
Really
food
loud.
waste, I think if you could put your food waste in a compostable bag in your green waste container, I bet you would get a lot more compliance. Just saying, I realize they don't take them, but I'm just saying, I bet there are people that are saying, I am not putting my food without a bag.
Oh, yeah, they get it, it's gonna stink in the truck.
Yeah, feel free to come talk to me because I have an answer for that afterwards.
It's gonna take some education. Okay, how about this table?
We were talking about just ways of minimizing plastic consumption.
How to so minimizing plastic consumption, what's one idea, one way we can do it?
Like packaging.
Packaging.
And I'm not taking the plastic bag and putting the veggies and fruits into it, getting some reasonable net.
Yeah, using net bags in the supermarket instead of the plastic bags. Great, thank you. Over here.
Provide these to every household.
Have one of those recycle bins in every household. Yeah, tell your neighbors. All right, let's see, over here.
I quit using anything
Louder.
like the dishwasher pods. I quit using those. I just went back to the powder with a cardboard box.
Okay.
The laundry soap. It works just as good, and you don't have all that plastic.
Yeah, or hand soap.
And hand soap too.
Yeah.
Plus the coffee pots, don't use those.
Oh, yeah, use those.
Right, okay, thank you. And this table here.
Go ahead.
Quickly.
Well, I think we'll just encapsulate this because we all try to do the best we can, and a comment was made. The fact that we're even here tonight is one little piece of what can help make things move forward. That, we also loved Chrissy's quote. So.
Yes.
And
Great,
no
thank
guilt.
Right.
No guilt.
Yeah.
Thank you. And last over here.
I think we already went.
Oh, you already went. That's right, you did. Yeah, right. Okay, got it. Thank you. All right, those were great.
And laundry sheets.
Keep thinking. And don't just think, also do. All right. So here is your action challenge for this month. But first I gotta ask, who did the action challenge from last month? Who even remembers it?
Ride public transportation.
Yeah.
Ride public transportation. All right, you gotta know this one now, you gotta do this one.
This one might be almost easier, just to decide one way you're gonna significantly reduce your trash, your waste during the holiday season.
Don't
One way.
buy more wrapping paper.
All right, that's a good one. All right, thank you. Okay, moving on. So this is just a little bit about ANCA, but you all know about, I think most people in the room know about Map Your Neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's such a critical program. Every day it seems we hear a new disaster in some other place, and so we just have to be prepared. I know some of you have already done Map Your Neighborhood, great. All the materials are over there. We also have our safety gear bags for sale for $35. And those of you who had a Map Your Neighborhood program earlier and haven't yet purchased your hard hat, your gloves, etc., you can buy them tonight for $35. And so take a look there. We have a fabulous new book for our book. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. You're right. That's Map Your Neighborhood. Going on. Good club, here it is. So this is a really fun book. Anybody remember who was here when Julia Leonard spoke? She talked about this book and she said it was her favorite book ever. I Want a Better Catastrophe. So that's the book club book for this month. So get it, read it, and join on Zoom. And do we have a date? Yes, January 22nd. So you got some time. Good holiday reading. And the Repair Cafe is coming back in January 24th. Put that on your calendar.
Right in this room.
Yeah, and that's another R. It's actually 7 R. Repair, right? Okay.
Keep your gifts for that day.
Pardon me?
Bring it and give it away. Repair Cafe.
Yeah. And then just a sneak peek at our winter series. In January, we're going to do a fun visioning session here for what we really want to see our community be like maybe in 2050. So stay tuned for more information about that. February, we're gonna do something about the importance of growing more food locally. Okay, that's gonna be really great. March 18th is going to be protecting biodiversity in Redlands. We haven't really touched on that. That's something I've really learned lately, how critical it is to protect our biodiversity. And then Earth Day is April 18th, and that's all hands on deck. So we are dark here. We don't have a speaker series that night because we're all kind of focused on Earth Day for that month. And then May 20th we're going to have somebody from public health here to talk about how climate change is really a major public health issue. And that'll be a don't miss one. And last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about ANCA's financial situation. I know we've heard this a little bit before, but we are, as you know, pretty much all volunteer except for Anna, who's our half-time Macro Neighborhood Coordinator. We've been going for close to 5 years now. This will be the end of our 4th year in March next year. And we're operating on a shoestring, guys. We really are. And some of us are getting older. You might have noticed that. We still have lots of energy, but you never know. So we really need to start planning for the future and figuring out how we're going to keep this program going. So if you think that these programs that we just ran through are worth continuing, we hope that you will consider to be a climate hero. And if you've noticed that little thing at the center of the table, my husband came up with that. I thought it was a really great idea. But a climate hero is somebody who every month takes a little money out of their budget to go towards climate change. And that would be a gift to ANCA to support all of these programs. So we're suggesting $20 a month. If that doesn't fit your budget, $10 a month would be great. And some people are actually giving more, which is fantastic. So if you can possibly do that, a little, what do you call it, QR code is on the card there. We would appreciate it more than I could ever say. And I think that's it, except happy holidays. So be safe and cherish your time with friends and family. That's the best gift of all our holidays.